My name is Kate Grahn, and I am an LA native, which is crazy. I feel like that's kind of rare. Um, Let me think about the first memory I have with music. I think it probably would be when I would sing karaoke at, oh no, that is so not true. It was probably when I watched Bye Bye Birdie as a
Hmm.
child. And I have a lot of home videos of me dancing around the living room and singing and doing the choreography. And there's even one video where I like go into my room and then I come out and I have like two scarves and I just start like really, scarf dance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was very much an only child.
I love that. Just having your little
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. So yeah, musical theater was definitely a huge kind of like beginning
Yeah, for sure.
for music. Yeah.
Have you ever been in any like musicals or plays?
Yeah, I did them honestly when I was little. I during the summer would do these camps, and I was in Into the Woods. I was the wolf, and like I was always a boy. I always played a boy. I was the wizard in Wicked when
OMG.
I was like 6.
Stop, that's iconic though.
um no, and I for some reason like developed some sort of accent when I was singing,
Cha.
and it's like wonderful. Like I really tried to emulate some sort of like old-timey voice for some
I
reason.
love that.
Yeah. When I started to get older, I did some stuff, but I in high school mostly, yeah, I basically was just focused on writing music, and I was in a band, and yeah.
So by the time you were in high school, were you already decided that you wanted to do music as like your career?
It's funny because I don't remember deciding. I just remember there wasn't an alternate.
Yeah.
I didn't have a moment where I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this. I was just like, oh, there was never a moment where I decided I wasn't,
Yeah.
if that makes
That's
sense.
so cool.
Excuse me. But yeah.
So, your latest single, Rage Room, has such an intense vibe, but it's intense, but still like it doesn't make me feel sad or anything like that intense. It makes me like really motivated and gets like my adrenaline pumping. What was
Good, I'm
the
glad.
inspiration for that song and how did it come to? Was there like a moment that you were raging and you're like, I need to turn this into a song, or did it just kind of come up when you're writing?
I wrote this song with a couple friends and writers. So I wrote it with this amazing songwriter named Callie Rohde and a producer named Joel Ferber. And we also did, um, uh, oh no, that one's not out. Never mind. Joel did produce Happy Sexy Skinny Pill, though, which came out a little bit ago. Um, However, Rage Room was definitely inspired when Trump won the
Mhm.
election, because in that moment, I went numb and read 12 books in a span of 1 month because I wanted to escape reality. Um,
Yeah.
but I also, I just didn't know what else to do except write
Mhm.
about it because that's something I've always done is if there's something on my mind, I have to write about it. Um, and yeah, I wanted there to be a song for someone to listen to during this time where they can have a cathartic release
Mhm.
because it is just a very crazy time right now, to say the
Yeah.
least. And we can't necessarily go around breaking things, but we can, listen to music and maybe sit in our car for a second and just scream
Mhm.
and then start our
Yeah.
day.
No, literally. I listen to it in the car mostly too. Like that's when I really get like my good music moments in. And especially
The
being in
car.
Oklahoma,
Me
I
too.
need those songs that like help me remember not
Yeah.
everyone is like everybody here. There's people out there
No,
that
we're
are like
here for
me.
you. Yes, exactly.
I love it.
And we're trying to continue to fight in whatever way we can. I I'm loud, I'm, opinionated, and I I like using whatever platform I have to to, you know, use my voice for people that maybe don't feel comfortable using theirs.
Yeah, definitely. And like I do know people here that don't feel comfortable, and so like having people like you share their voice is so beneficial. Even if like the people that don't know you, they see it and they're like, people believe in my existence as a human being. Like this means so much. So I'm really grateful.
Oh,
I do follow you on Instagram, obviously, and I see how much that you're pushing for people's voices and things like that. And it doesn't go unnoticed. I notice it, and I know other people do.
oh, thank you. Thank you. And you know what? I've had the luxury of growing up in a blue bubble, and my extended family is actually in Chicago, but also blue. And you know, I'm really lucky that I was surrounded by those political beliefs growing up. And even when I was old enough to you know, think more critically and think, okay, what do I actually believe in, and still align for the most
Hmm.
part with, you know, my family, is something that doesn't go unchecked, because that's, you know, a lot of people, a lot of, you know, uh, queer people are, you know, in families right now in their teens, so they can't, you know, necessarily leave,
Yeah.
um, that have family members that don't believe in their existence.
Hmm.
And so because I'm, you know, safe in my surroundings, I feel like, well, I can do this without feeling like, you know, I'm going to get persecuted or attacked. Well, I mean, online they still do that,
Yeah.
but
Right.
but you know.
But like, yes, that is literally why I started Pop House too. Is because like, growing up, I know I felt that like unattached from that. But pop stars and pop music, they can change the world. Like, specifically, women in music have the power to like inspire others that other people don't have that power, and it's so amazing. I love it.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm very inspired by, I mean, like, you know, Alanis Morissette and Heart, you know, the women who have really big
Hmm.
voices like to use
Yeah,
them.
I love it. So, what has been the most defining moment of your career, or the most like, OMG, is this happening moment? Has there anything that's like, it doesn't even have to be like an achievement or like a certain moment, but like
Hmm.
something crazy that has happened, or like a fun fan interaction that you just like remember?
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my career, um, it's, I definitely savor, you know, the small moments, because I'm still very much at the beginning stage, even though it feels like it's, well, it has been a while for me, but, you know, in the grand scheme, it hasn't. Um, but even when, like, a couple times, people have come to shows and I met them, and then I'll do another show maybe like a few months later, and then they're there, and I was like, oh, who paid you? They're like, no, I liked your music and I wanted to come, and I was like, wait, that's so
Yeah,
crazy.
that's so awesome.
um, or if someone heard, you know, on Spotify, and then they saw that I'm playing, you know, in LA, and they're like, oh, I know that, I'll go. And it's just, I think because for so many years I was playing, you know, and still am sometimes, um, to like a chair
Hmm.
at, you know, hotel cafe. um, and my friends, who I love so much and are so supportive, would come to the shows, and you know, that would continue over and over again, but at some point you're like, oh my god, I'm sorry that I keep asking you to come and hear the same songs, and but you have to gig,
Hmm.
and your friends are supportive, so they come. But then when people start coming that you don't know, that's when I really felt like, wait, why? Even though, like, you know,
Yeah.
the why is that they want to, and I love that, and I'm so grateful, but it's so, it's such a funny turn of events.
Hmm. And I bet too, like, it's probably so strange knowing somebody found you just like from the internet, like, void, like, I don't know, just the
Yeah.
disconnect, and people can still know who you are through like not even personally knowing you, and finding your music and showing up.
Exactly.
It's just so cool how like the community builds itself.
Yeah, and I remember once I was serving at a restaurant, and this person who I was serving, they were like, "Wait, I know you. Are you Kate Grahn?" And I was like,
Shut up.
"Yeah, but I also grew up in this
Hmm.
area." So I was like, "Oh, we maybe went to school together, or whatever." And he was like, "I went to a show of yours." And I was like,
What?
"What?" And that's like not something that is happening consistently to me yet. Manifest. But but it was just such an amazing experience, and I was truly so like it just was so
That
special.
is so cool. I haven't heard. I've asked a lot of people like stories that they have with like meeting fans or anything, but that might be one
Hmm.
of the coolest ones.
Because if you think about, I mean, I'm it's not like I was eating at the restaurant and he was my server. It
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm at my day job, so I'm clearly not, a
Uh
celebrity.
huh. But that's so
And
cool.
they're like, wait, no, I saw you perform. And I was like, well, what? Where? When?
Yeah.
Why?
That is so amazing.
Yes. Yeah. I really want to do a tour. I just I want to do a supporting
Hmm.
tour, obviously, because I that's kind of where I got to start, of course. But it's so tough because that's really where the relationships maybe between like indie labels and stuff, which I'm independent. I mean, I'm not with an indie
Yeah.
label. I'm not. I'm just completely independent. Um, but it's also when you have to have like a following and social media,
Hmm.
and that's um, currency
Yeah, and all the
essentially, which
numbers
is,
and
oh
clicks and
god, I can't.
views. It's
Uh, it's I play the game and I try not to have like a bad attitude about
hmm.
it, because I try to be as authentic as I can be being while creating like fake scenarios sometimes for
Yeah.
clickbait. You know what I mean? Like I'm working with someone who does social media and they're like, you got to do X, Y, and
Hmm.
Z, and I'm like, but that's not real. And but that stuff doesn't bother me because you can look at a video and be like, oh, she's marketing.
Yeah.
You know, as long as I'm not actually like if someone in the comments were to be like, this is fake, I'd be like, yeah, of course.
Right. Yeah. But I think
Like
that's
I'm not
fun
actually trying to
too.
lie. Yeah.
Like not making everything like a gimmick where like we're trying to like secretly do something and market to you, but like people knowing that it's marketing, I think at least being a fan, I think it's fun and it's exciting.
Yeah. And I'm also just trying, like, I'm figuring it out. I'm trying different things. Someone commented on my TikTok today, and I'm going to read this because I actually think this is really
Hmm.
important. They said, "You were a great singer until you started creating just for the sake of an agenda. When I heard Ragdoll, which is one of my, like, first songs that I
Hmm.
released, which is definitely more like rock, I fell in love. But after listening further, I became disappointed in you." And I was like, huh. Because on the one hand, I was like, have I lost the plot? But I'm like, no. I if you listen to the lyrics, it's still I'm never writing anything. Oh, I write exaggerated things all the time, but I'm never writing anything that's not coming from the heart. And maybe the genre is gets a little poppier, but that doesn't mean that it's any less um, true or vulnerable. Uh, and I never I don't like responding sometimes to like
Hmm.
trolls, but I felt like this one I was like, wait, you're attacking kind of my authenticity. Let me explain myself. And I said, what is the agenda? I continue to write from the heart. Sometimes I like to go more pop and sometimes I like to lean more rock. Social media marketing is just part of the game, so I can continue writing more music like Ragdoll, which I also play at all the shows I do. I always end my show with
Hmm.
Ragdoll because I love that song. Um, music like Ragdoll and the other songs I've realized that I love, or the other songs I've released that I love. And then I said, it's okay if you don't like the creative direction I go in, but assuming you know me and my heart is disappointing. Because she was like, I'm disappointed in you. And I just was like, because that is so important to me. And Ragdoll is about, someone telling me that I'm not going to make it because I didn't have a
Yeah.
brand. And I think this person is seeing my TikTok, which is going to be the most, you know, superficial part of me,
Hmm.
and going to see that because I'm working the algorithm. I'm honestly just seeing what works so that I can grow a fan base so that I can continue
Yeah.
to be myself and write the music. But I don't know, that just like hit me today because I was like, why do you and I haven't left her behind.
Yeah.
That's still me.
And I think people too get upset when they see things change and not stay stagnant and
Hmm.
the same the whole time. And maybe they do like that one song, but if you create music that sounds like the same song over and over and over, they're going to have something to say about that too. They'll be disappointed in
Yeah,
that.
and well, and if she really listened to the song, that she would realize that I don't like putting myself in a
Right.
box. So I'm gonna do other forms of music, you know, continue finding my sound. Like I'm never gonna. It's always gonna evolve in some sort of way. I hope. Otherwise, I become boring.
Right.
Um,
I think the
but yeah, I no, I was just gonna say I thought that that was kind of an important thing because I think musicians and like artists' integrity sometimes can be questioned because of social
yeah.
media and their authenticity. But that's something that I really, really try to, or not even try, I really pride myself on being true and vulnerable and saying things in songs that maybe are embarrassing to
Mhm.
say, but I think it's important. And I, I don't want to hide behind like fabrications of the truth because that's not real.
Right.
So I was like, Diva, I'm still the same.
Right. Yeah, like I'm same person, just keeping making music. And I don't know, I think all great musicians go through transitions and they evolve and change. Like
Absolutely.
I did my whole first season of the podcast about Madonna and her
Oh,
evolution,
yeah.
and every single like probably like 5 years she's like a whole new woman. And that's what
Hmm.
kept her so popular and keep going to like now she's 60 still selling out stadiums. But if she stayed the same as
Yeah.
she always did, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah. Absolutely. And also, you have to change with the industry,
Yeah,
you know? The industry is not what it was when, Alanis Morissette, I don't know, I keep going to her. I
I
love
love
her.
her.
Um, but with social media and with people not really developing artists anymore,
Mhm.
it's different. And you have to figure out how to create space for yourself in the industry when you are like clawing your way
Yeah, you're
in.
like A&Ring yourself and creating music.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's
Oh,
like
it's
two
a
full-time
it's a
jobs.
full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you make no
Right,
money.
yeah. You got
You
like two
actually
full-time jobs,
spend
a
money.
side gig, and you're still not making money.
Yeah, exactly.
But that
It's the
doesn't if that
dream.
doesn't show passion and like your authenticity, then I don't know what other people could expect because that's pouring out your heart.
Oh, well, thank you
Yeah,
for saying that.
I love it. And I think I don't see your social media as like super manufactured or anything. I love like your TikToks are fun. I love it.
Thanks. I also don't really with social media, I don't really care if it
Right.
looks manufactured because social media, I'm like, come to my show. You'll see that
Mhm.
that's not how I am. And I'm like, it's social media. What do you expect? We're all supposed to know this. But I'm also, when I promote music, maybe the gimmicks might be silly or whatever. But when I release the song, I'm always going to, in the caption, I'm always going to like really explain what it's
Yeah.
about, really go into the depth of it and why I wrote it. So if you're actually paying attention, like you'll know. But if you just see me once in a while pop up on your TikTok, yeah, maybe you'll have a different perspective of me than you did when I was 19
Right.
when I wrote that Ragdoll song.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to a more fun subject. If you had
Yeah,
to
not me just
Oh no, I
ranting.
love it. Like that's what we're here to hear the girls and the gays tell their truth.
Exactly.
So if you could write a theme song for any movie or TV show, what
Mm,
movie or TV show would you pick?
okay. Hmm. I've been so in my like fantasy book era that I haven't been watching that
You
much
could pick a
TV.
book.
So I'm trying to even think.
If you want to do like an intro song for a
Oh,
book that's not in made yet.
wait, yeah, I would do like okay, maybe it's just because I'm reading it right now, but I'm reading Throne of
Uh-huh.
Glass, um, or like Fourth Wing, like all that type of stuff would be so good because I feel like um, there's so many badass female
Mhm.
characters, and I feel like I can write to that.
Yeah.
I think that would be really fun, and I know that they are actually making them into. I think they're making Fourth Wing into a show.
They better be
Um,
listening.
yeah,
Hit my
so
girl up.
yeah, I would definitely love to write a song for that, and for movies, I I mean like the way that Diane Warren has written so many incredible songs for movies. The one she did with her,
Mhm.
um, and that was nominated. I would love to have that sort of career as well. Um, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, I would love to have that sort of career. No, I would love to have that
Right.
career. um, I can't think of like a exact movie at the moment, but maybe. Oh my god, wait, actually, I would love to do. And this isn't even because I don't even think I've really seen them, but I just think the whole James Bond writing a song for that,
Mhm.
the way that like Billie Eilish did and Adele, and I just think that's so iconic.
That'd be so iconic.
So I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Yes, I love it. So, what do you do to take personal time for yourself when you're not like pouring your heart out into music or trying to like keep up with the social media game? How do you like rest and relax, make
Yeah.
sure you have time for yourself?
This is actually something that I've been working on because I would find that when I would be finding time for myself, I would feel
Mhm.
guilty that I wasn't being productive, quote unquote. But I think I just shifted my perspective on it. And once I did that, my leisure time is, I feel less guilty
Yeah.
about relaxing. Um, so reading, like I said,
Mhm.
love taking myself out to go get coffee or lunch by myself with my dog. I love my alone time. And bringing my Kindle, and I'll just sit there and read and eat. And another thing is I love going out and just like finding places to hike
Yeah.
because I think, I mean, it's LA, but being in the nature that I can find around me is it's really important to kind of reset. And I'll go and I'll try to like find a bench and meditate and something that I want to do more. And I also honestly, I mean, not that this is like
Mhm.
relaxing, but I started doing Pilates like a year ago, Megaformer Pilates for my lower back,
Uh-huh.
and I've just really started loving it because it's made me feel really strong.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to have a different point of view when it comes to feeling strong and oh, I want to lose weight, I want my body to look a different way or something. So
Mhm.
I've been trying to you know just feel like those female main characters in those
Yeah.
books, like just strong and badass. And
I love it.
so yeah, those are my three things.
Awesome. Do you have like a favorite coffee shop in LA that you like go to more often?
um I mean, I love Aroma Cafe. um it's in the valley. I also really like, it's on the same street, but I like this coffee. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's on the same street,
Okay.
and they have good coffee. Um, I mean, I'm a matcha. I'm a matcha
Mhm.
girl, so but or I'll even make myself matcha here sometimes and just sit and read. But I do like I like making a thing of it. I like to
Yeah,
go. It's like a little treat, a little solo date.
I love it. So I have one last question. At Pop Palace, we ask all of our guests to curate their own royal court going off the palace theme. So,
Okay.
who would be like three of your top, not even influences, but like your idols in music that would be sitting on
Okay.
your,
How
yeah.
many? Wait, how
Oh,
many of
three.
them? Three. Okay. Okay, that would be sitting in my court.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I love this question. This is so fun, especially because I'm reading Throne of God. I'm
OMG,
like,
wait, that is
I'm so
perfect.
so in theme. um, okay, Haley Williams from
Yep.
Paramore, because I just want to sing with her all the time. Alanis Morissette, because I've talked so much about her, and I also love her, and I love that she's political and like doesn't give a, I don't know if I can
Yeah, you can
swear,
swear.
but doesn't give a bleep, doesn't give a fuck. Um, let me think. I would have, I mean, can they be not
Yeah,
living?
totally. Literally any, there's
Okay,
no rules.
because this is my fantasy. And then I would have probably like Aretha Franklin.
Okay, that's a good
I
group.
think I just is really strong vocalist. I'm just always been just incredibly
Mm-hmm.
inspired by. Um, and I think Alanis, especially with her songwriting too, is incredible. And
She's insane.
yeah.
I got to work a
So those
music festival a few years ago that she was headlining, and I got off work
really.
just in time to see her, and it changed my life.
Wait, which music festival?
It was okay. It was really random. It was called Format Fest, and it was in Arkansas.
Okay,
I don't know. The
got
like
it.
Walmart
Because I
family put
saw
it
her
on.
at. Oh my
Yeah.
god, I saw her at Ocean
Was it in
something. I forget
Maryland?
what's Ocean. Yeah,
Wait, I
I forget.
almost
Ocean's
worked there.
Calling.
I almost worked to that one.
Oh my god, really?
Yes.
Oh my
Wait,
god,
that's crazy.
I went with my cousins.
OMG.
It was so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know the
Yeah,
audience is
of
going to love it. It
course.
was so wonderful to meet you.
It was so wonderful to meet you too.